Visualize. Standing Rock, North Dakota. Land of oil wells and Indians. Big oil versus small American tribe. David versus Goliath. The issue at hand is the Standing Rock tribe is trying to prevent the building of the Dakota Access Pipeline called the DAPL from the ETP Energy Company, claiming it runs through their sacred lands and could destroy their water. This event is drawing protesters worldwide. But are they peaceful protesters, with peace being the key word? I believe they're professional agitators. A lot of them have come far and wide for that purpose. The Standing Rock tribe claims they were never notified. The fact is, they were notified a dozen times before the project started, and they had the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers held 389 meetings with 55 different tribes to talk about this route. The Standing Rock chose not to go and basically said, we're not going to let it happen. It's gotten to the point, using government bureaucracy, the Standing Rock actually has the UN involved on their side. I will admit that the energy company did fast track, legally, the building of the pipeline through a process called Nationwide 12 Permit. However, the Standing Rock chose to file lawsuits against the company, claiming Environmental Protection Act, the Historic Act, and the Clean Water Act. DAPL is installed on privately owned property, and the facts speak for themselves. It's hard to argue facts in an emotional argument. There were 10,000 protesters at the height of the controversy, and Standing Rock told them they have to leave. They said, we're not leaving. Violence still followed. It even escalated. Environmentalist Andrew J. O'Connor actually made the statement he has no problem with a sniper shooting an oil worker off a drill site. Well, that bullet could have been meant for me. The environmental water protectors left tons of garbage and refused to help clean up after the thaw. There was 835 tons of garbage removed at a cost of $1.1 million to the taxpayers. The protesters chose not to help. They broke the law, squatting on farmers' and ranchers' lands, ironically, to protest and protect Indian lands. There's 8 different pipelines already running through Lake Oahe, which is the area that goes along Standing Rock. And at its closest point, the DAPL will be 70 miles away from Standing Rock Reservation. I worked on those lands in the oil fields for 3.5 years. I understand their system, and nothing happens on the Indian lands that they're not aware of. In fact, in 2015, when I was a safety director, there was a story of a man who drove a septic tank up to the rivers on Fort Berthold Reservation and dumped his waste from his sewage. As he was driving out, he was caught red-handed. He can now face a fine of $50,000 and possible criminal charges. Here's the irony for you. Standing Rock fuel sales are 175 to 200,000 gallons prior to the Dakota Access Pipeline. The Indians allow fracking on their land and use the gas for themselves. So why is it they don't accept it now? They're protesting against the DAPL and capitalism. How ironic is that? It's kind of glaring hypocrisy. So Standing Rock is using government bureaucracy. We have protesters that refuse to leave, squatting illegally on ranchers' and farmers' lands, and leaving garbage left behind. If they were there to protest peacefully it would look more like a Martin Luther King in D.C. protest. Maybe even a Gandhi protest, peaceful protest. But there would not have been upwards of 100 arrests or scenes of destruction. They would have stuck around and come back to clean up, averting possible environmental crisis from the garbage they left over. These fossil fuel fanatics have their own agenda, and it can't be honest why they came to Standing Rock. Here's the ironic part. Protesters riding bicycles made of oil byproducts, wearing backpacks made of nylon, and carrying protest signs made of plastic, all part of the oil byproduct from drilling. Without fossil fuels, we would be men wearing fig leaves carrying pieces of wood. But this allows them to have those items for protesting. Americans consume the rate of 3.5 gallons per day of oil byproducts. Not just for fuel, but for thousands of other items. And the same with natural gas. To think you can't live without those is unrealistic. We are each connected, and life is not perfect. But if we're honest about our causes, maybe it could be. I believe in the First Amendment, the right to peaceful assembly, to argue and debate your position, but I am tired of movements being co-opted by lies and misinformation for their own personal agenda. If we can't love each other, at least maybe we can live in harmony with each other. Thank you.